All right. Listener questions. We got a couple today. This one is from Marusi. Should soft, eagleable par fours and fives even exist? Or should they be turned into harder par threes and fours instead? So I think there's a difference between what people, I think people have different ideas of what this means. So, in my opinion, a soft par four is something that you're either going to eagle it or birdie it, right? Like you're throwing your drive, you're either going to make the putt for eagle or you're going to miss it and birdie it. A soft par five, same kind of concept. You're going to throw a drive, you're going to throw your second shot, you're either going to make the putt or you're going to miss it. I don't I don't think those are good because again, I'm all about score separation. I want to see the I want to see a wider range. So if you think about the easiest hole that comes to my mind is it's like hole 7, 8, 9 at Innova at the Las Vegas Challenge. The hole famously made famous by Garrett Gurthie acing it. It sits in between the two bunkers. You've got the OB short green, you got OB behind, and then you have a really kind of tight landing zone that you can lay up and try to play for a birdie. If you go OB off the tee, you go to that kind of landing zone that isn't a guaranteed up and down. Very easy to throw that shot into a bunker. So I love that hole because you not only see twos on a hole, you see threes, you see fours, you see fives, and you sometimes even see sixes. So in my opinion, that is a good hole score separator. Um, and I think there's enough room. Now, obviously, when it gets windy, it's a little bit more fluky, but I think there's enough room everywhere where the flukiness isn't really existent there. Good shots get rewarded, bad shots get punished. I love that. All right, this is from Berg. For the elite events, how many new winners will be in 2024? And how many people do you think will win multiple events? Okay, new winners. We had a lot of new winners this year. I think we're going to see, and by new winners, I mean they've never won on tour, right? That's what we're setting the standards here. They've never won on tour. I'm going to say 3 new winners. How many people do you think will win multiple events? I'm just kind of like doing the math in my head. Let's say 6. 6 people win multiple events. 3 new winners. Let's see how close at the end of the year. You can let me know. You guys can timestamp this or someone take this clip, save it for the end of the year and see how close I got. All right, the Locust the Lurker. Discussion when playing doubles with an odd number. Size, I might need your help with this too because I'm not super familiar with this. When playing doubles with an odd number, solo gets to Cali. So Cali, I believe, means they get to throw 2 shots every single time. While the doubles are getting 2 from each placement, best shot, doesn't seem like an equal trade-off. We've started letting the single thrower bishop, or we started calling the single thrower bishop. They can use 2 bishops per hole, just not consecutively. Fair. So I think we all agree that if you have 3 people that all are the same skill level and 2 people are grouped up and they throw their shots, you take the best one. But then this guy over here throws a shot and then throws another shot and he takes the best one. The person that's able to adjust, change discs, do something different, they have a little bit more an advantage. So what this is saying is like you get to pick throughout a hole when you want to use that advantage, but you can only do it twice and you can't do it back to back. So I couldn't do it off the tee and then I couldn't do it for a putt. I like this. I like this a lot, Silas.
I like that too because it doesn't make the person, it's not on every shot. So it's not like unreasonably unfair, but it kind of, it evens the playing field out nice, I think. I haven't played that way, but I think it's a good way to play.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I also like it too because it adds a little bit of, I mean, I even like the idea of like playing 1v1 with someone with this concept of where like this could be a cool video if Hunter and Trevor do this at like New London. Every hole they get two bishops, but they can't use them back to back.
Yeah.
I think that's a cool video because now it's like you're strategizing the do I want to save it for my two putts? Like I think that's really cool. I'm going to talk to them about that. I think they should do that at New London. I think that would be cool. That's really awesome. I like that. How do you feel about the idea of a celebrity pro-am during the All-Star weekend? I'm not certain that there's enough appeal for the big name celebrities, but if they went hard with it, don't you like it? Don't you think it could bring fresh attention to the sport and maybe sell some tickets? I like it a lot more at an event than separate. Like I think if you're going to do this celebrity thing, they did something similar to this at like D-Glow where they had like Ben Askren come out. They had Bert come out. I think that makes a lot of sense at an event already. So I like this a lot more of adding a celebrity pro-am to the All-Star weekend. I think that could actually do well than trying to do a celebrity pro-am completely separate. That's what I would say on that. If Brodie's knees weren't ever injured, where would he be today? Disc golf, ultimate. It would be ultimate because the only way I was really introduced to disc golf was when my ultimate career was over, when I couldn't play ultimate really anymore. That's how I kind of got introduced to disc golf. So I think I mean, I loved ultimate so much. I loved it. So the idea that I would just somehow, even though I was still playing and playing at like the highest level I could, the idea that I would just like walk away from that to start a brand new sport doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't think I would do that. So I would still definitely be playing ultimate. How do you use rollers? Favorite disc for them, forehand and backhand? So I'm a little bit different. When I throw my rollers, I don't throw them very much different than my normal shots. I just use a much flippier disc. So my rollers that I really like, and I'll probably try to get these dialed in because I think it did cause me a little bit of issues at some tournaments because I was throwing so many different ones. The rollers that I currently throw that I'm probably going to figure out the one that I'm going to stick with, Avenger SS, Janus Thrasher, and the Scorch. Those are my 3 backhand rollers. And I throw them kind of flat and then have them turn throughout their flight and hit kind of on with a decent amount of angle, and they kind of flip up throughout their flight. Now, other players will, if you watch like Eagle's a perfect example of someone that will throw like an overstable disc that's more on the flippy side, like an overstable disc that used to be overstable, but now is more flippy because of how beat in it is. He'll throw that more on a vertical angle out of his hand. And that way it kind of stays more straight throughout. I don't personally like throwing rollers like that. Some people do, and they're really good at them. For forehand rollers, I throw Avenger SS for my like flat to turn over roller. And then because it's way more comfortable for me to throw a forehand roller vertical than it is for me to try to throw a backhand vertical, I will throw some forehand rollers, mostly on the scramble side, like getting out of tight spots. I'll go with the Raptor and just throw that because in that's kind of like a point and shoot. It just goes kind of exactly where I'm aiming or where the disc lands. So those are my roller discs. Last question here. Think of us Canadian homes before you get upset at fans asking about your round. We don't have data. Now, this isn't really a question, but this makes a good point, Silas. I've stood on this soapbox multiple times on this podcast where I tell you guys, hey, listen, the last thing you should do is ask someone how their round went after their round because it could be a very awkward situation where someone played poorly and you're like, hey, how'd your round go? And they have to be like, hey, I sucked out there. I just missed cat. Like, it can be very, very awkward. So I always tell people, like, do not ask that question. However, this person brings up a great point. We do have our friends up north in Canada. I'm sure, are coming to a lot of events that are right near the border, and they might not have the data. They might not be able to go on and look. So my question to you, Silas, is
Yeah.
How far away do you think we are? I mean, kind of going back to Yuli's point a little bit earlier, how far away are we from being able to have like a score bearer, like someone that's like they do it right now
Don't
at
they
a lot
have
of
that?
tournaments for lead card and chase card.
Okay, yeah.
They do it for a lot of tournaments for lead card and chase card. How close are we, do you think? Years. Give me a years of having every card have a score thing.
Oh, I mean, it's got to be a while because before you even have that, I think you have people on UDisc keeping score, just even on their phones. And right now,
And that's hard. That's hard to get everywhere.
yeah, I was gonna say. So I'm going 7 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say
A good while.
I was gonna say like 10 years probably for that. Now, obviously, there's crazy growth again, similar to what we saw during COVID. Who knows? But the way that we've kind of been going throughout the season, I see it firsthand. It's sometimes very, very difficult to find people to even do UDisc on each card. So the idea that you're going to have another person doing a scoring for the people at the event, that seems a little bit far
I think
away.
going back to your asking how your round went kind of thing, I feel like that is almost like a conversation starter now. Like that's just people's go-to is like, oh, how'd your round go? Like, oh, how are you doing?
I could see that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
Yeah.
I understand
so
how that would.
Maybe I'm a bad person, right?
Well-
Because like when someone says how are you doing, you normally don't really want to respond with like, oh well, my dog died today, and I lost my job, and I just lost $10,000 in the market. Like you normally are kind of like, oh, it's not too bad. How are you? So maybe I'm a bad person for being
I
like,
don't know.
for being like, I played like absolute trash. I missed the cut. I don't know what I'm doing with my life.
Well,
Maybe
I mean, you're
should
just
be
being
like,
honest.
Wasn't that bad? Yeah, I know. But maybe I should be like, it wasn't that bad.
I get both point of views.
Maybe I should change my mind. I don't know. This person got to me. So maybe you'll see a new Brodie in the 2024 season.